This is the blend door gear. Usually most people are faced with this gear breaking, and is what's usually caused the problem. It doesn't rotate the doors to open up, giving heat or air conditioning. And in most cases, it's a simple fix. I've been on YouTube several times. I will post links to those channels that show you how to do the basic blend door gear fix. It is very simple. At one point I thought it was very hard, but it is very simple. It's just time consuming in getting to the actual gear box to remove the gear and replace it. But my problem was more extensive and went further than that. My problem went into the air box itself. Now, if you notice, the air box, I have dual air control. And in my box with dual air control, that means you can control either side. You can adjust the heat and coolness to each side. If the driver likes it a lot cooler, he can adjust it to cooler, and the passenger can adjust it to raise the temperature slightly so they're not as cool. And as you can see, there are two drum-like doors which operate, and I'll explain what you're looking at in a few minutes. These are the two drum-like doors which rotate, changing the direction of the air, changing the air from the heater core to the condenser, which will blow you cool air. Here's your main portal through which all your air flows. These are your two blend doors, driver side, and this is passenger side. Which rotates each of these doors is what is called an actuator. We'll take a look further later at the actuator, which is a series of gears within this box right here, which actually operates and turns this gear. This gear here is what operates the blend door itself. I'm going to shine some light. Hopefully you'll get to see where that gear goes on that actuator. Because we're now hooked up to power, we'll not be able to rotate that gear. But is that the gear inside right there that you're looking at? That is the gear in there. That is this little gear right here looking in. And most people notice that this is where the initial problem starts. This gear snapping off and stopping the door from rotating. However, my problem, again, like I said, went further. On each of the doors, there's a rubber gasket which seals the door shut. Mine is a 2014 Jeep, and what happens is, after time and much older Jeeps, if you're in a cold weather climate and you run your heat extensively for long periods of time, it's going to cause those gaskets to melt. This is what you're looking at right here. This is all the melted gasket that was on the door itself. Here's the actual piece of the gasket itself. Very pliable, very soft. Now initially when you look at it, here's one that's still intact on the door. Right now this is very soft, and any amount of heat right now will cause this to start melting if I put the heat on and leave it there extensively. This is what caused the door to get stuck. Your door will rotate to shut position. With this being very soft, it'll go in past the flap, and when you go to rotate back out, being that it's melted, will cause it to jam. Once it jams, then this gear within here will snap off, and this is the end results of that. And you may go in some cases, the door may jam and the seals may not be melted, and you may be able to rotate the door back in position, which will keep it operable. But in my case, that was not the case. The door actually melted and sealed itself shut. As you can see, the extensive melting that went on into this door panel. Now, along with these rotating drums, which is the main airflow, you have what is called the side panels, which gives your passenger their air and heating. Same thing happened on these doors. The seals melted and jammed the doors. And as you can see on the front part of the panels, you have the same actual doors with the same rubber gaskets. Let's shut these. As you can see, the rubber gaskets on each of the doors. These doors down here go to the rear for the passengers. These are for the upper panel for the driver's side in the front. Down here is our vent for our foot section of the driver and passenger side. This is the airflow for there. Like I said, this rocker arm right here, as you can see, moves back and forth, which adjusts these side panel doors. So when the passenger decides that they don't want as much cold air, this will rotate into its position, allowing how much of a degree of temperature you want. It'll rotate into its partial position and stay there. If you want colder or hotter, this will rotate into its full position, either shut or open. This one will rotate partway through, which allows some heat, some cool air to go through from the heating core. Now, if you incur a problem where you replace the door gear and you're still having a problem with the door opening and closing, more than likely you're suffering from this meltdown within your air conditioning box. Now here is the rotating gear. Now once I had went in and tried to repair mine, I put on the gear, but before I put it in, put on the attenuator and tried to rotate the doors, I manually took my hand and tried to turn the drum. At that time, the door had sealed itself shut in the closed position. When I went to rotate the door, it wouldn't rotate fully. So I knew then that something else was wrong with that door and it wouldn't operate, and all I would do is end up snapping another gear. Further check on YouTube, I found a couple of videos where a gentleman found he had the same issue, but he had a much older Jeep which did not have dual climate change. He was able to go, he got creative, and instead of, as you can see, I'm having problems just reopening this door myself because it has sealed itself shut. There we go. Now you can see why that gear will snap. It's only made of plastic, but now you can see why that gear snaps. I finally got this door back open. Well, the gentleman on YouTube who found this problem did not have the dual climate control, which means he only had one set of boxes, one set of doors, which controlled his amount of heat and cool that he was receiving. And because he only had one set of doors, what he did was he went in to the side of his gearbox and he cut out a portion of the box itself. Once cutting out a portion of the box, he was able to take a scraper, go in and scrape off portions of the melted seal that was on the doors frame, which loosened up his box. And he said it worked for him. It saved him a couple $1,000s. But again, that was on a much older Jeep with only one, without dual climate control. This has dual climate control, as you can see. And that problem will definitely be unavoidable. Basically, I'm doing this video to show you that you may encounter this with a older Jeep with the dual climate. Like I said, I have a 2014 Grand Cherokee Summit. This right now cost me roughly between $1,700 and $2,000 to fix. I had to replace the whole box. I could not just replace the gears or the attenuators. So hopefully you'll have some insight as to what's going on to your heating issues with your Jeep Grand Cherokee, you have a better understanding, and hopefully you'll be able to understand what's going on. And you're basically going to have to sometime, unless you're a mechanic or you have a very good friend as a mechanic, that will be able to go in and completely remove your dashboard, remove this whole air conditioning pan, this whole air box, and replace it. That is the only option and fix you have for this. It is a very expensive fix. It took 2 to 3 days to be done. The garage I go to, my local mechanic, he actually had to send it to his other shop, and they had to park it in there and then take a couple days just removing the dashboard, removing the panels, getting it, removing the box, and ordering a whole new air conditioning box. The compressor worked fine, everything else worked fine, but I need to replace this whole box because of this right here, this rubber. Now, I had this box before I did this video. If I've had this box, I told him to save me the parts. I've kept this box for well over a month. It sat outside on my porch. And as you can see, even after all this time, this melted plastic is still pliable, soft, and sticks. You can see it on my hand. And this is over a month sitting in the elements. I don't know what Jeep has done or if they even corrected this situation. It might not happen to all Jeeps, but I believe it will eventually happen if you live in cold weather climates and you're constantly running heat. If you live somewhere that is very cold and you're running your heat constantly and you're running it on high, eventually this is going to happen. You're going to have this meltdown and it's going to jam your doors, snap your gears, and close up on your air box. And the only fix you'll have is to remove your air box completely and replace it. There's no door replacement. There's no seal replacement. Besides, even if you were able to get in and replace the seals, as you can see, like I said, this has been like this for months and it is still soft and pliable and sticky. And it's been sitting out in the elements. It's been in the cold night. It's been in the heat, but it's been mainly out in the cold night, sitting outside in the elements. It is still melted. Someone needs to go to Jeep, let them know of this problem, and see what they can do to replace these gaskets, which are able to melt. Here's our other side door. This is our driver's side door, which basically opens up and pumps heat and air up into the side vent that's up by the upper portion of the door near your mirror. You can feel the air coming through there. That is this side door. Again, these are your front center panels. This is your front center panel. And down below are your panels that go to your rear passengers. They clearly mark L for left side, right side. And down below that is your foot panels, which has a blower that blow horns that are connected to it, which reaches over and actually heats your feet. I'm hoping for many of you older Jeep owners, I don't know how extensive this goes up to, what year. I have 2014. I actually had a 2001 Jeep, which did not have dual air. I encountered the same problem. I never knew what this problem was. They mentioned to me when I had it fixed years ago that it was blend doors, and I never understood it. At that time, it cost me $1,400 then. This trip was $1,700 to $2,000 on a brand new Jeep. And this is at a local garage, not a dealer. So you expect to pay a lot more if you go to a dealership. They will mark you up on that. So you're looking anywhere probably close to $2,000, $2,500 to fix. If you live in a, excuse me, if you live in a temperate zone where you have hot summers and cold winters, this is totally unavoidable. You're gonna suffer either way. Either you're gonna freeze to death in the winter, or you're gonna burn up in the summer. I had to get this fixed. We were coming into the summer, and just driving, even with windows open, anytime the temperatures hit high 70s or 80s, the car was very hot. Plus, getting in and starting a car during those hot months, car is very hot and there's no way to cool it down. So I'm hoping this will be some help to many of you. It'll answer some questions. You'll have an idea of actually what's going on within your car. You'll know that, hey, if your gears are broke and you try to replace them and they're still broke, still same issue, this is your issue. You have melted seals on your blend doors, which is causing your doors to jam shut and break your gears off. So please feel free to share this video in the links. I will include a couple of the other videos that I did see to basically show you how to fix your gears on your blend doors, which is relatively simple. Like I said, I thought it was going to be very hard, but that was relatively simple. The hard part is finding out that it wasn't just the gear. It was actually these blend doors and these rubber gaskets, which can easily melt in the heat. Again, like I said, you can see this is still pliable, very soft. And right now, if I added heat to it, it will melt it and close it. I will include those links. You can see some of the simpler fixes that other people on YouTube has done. And then I will add this to my own page. Please donate to the page. Help defray this cost. It was very expensive to have done. But I'm hoping that I'm sharing information that will be very, very beneficial for you. And have you have a better understanding of actually what is happening within your Jeep. I'm not sure, again, like I said, if this went from 2014, how far beyond. More than likely, this will be with the new, anywhere from 2010, probably up to at least 16 and 18. This style Jeep blend door with dual climate control, you'll probably have this. And you may, with newer Jeeps, you may not encounter it. It may take a few years. We're looking at right now 7 to 8 years with my Jeep. So you can expect this problem later on. If you still have it, eventually you're going to run into this problem. But if you end up trading and moving up into a better Jeep, you won't encounter this. But this is just a warning, let you know exactly what is going on as far as air conditioning and heating problems with your Jeep and your blend doors. Like I said, donate to the page, help defray the costs. Like I said, this ran me close to $1,700 to $2,000 just to fix. And that's a killer. So donate to the page, and we'll be talking to you later.